It's the last trading day for the week, and it's less than an hour from now. The closing gong will be sounded at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Well, let's get an update on how today's activities have been. And Temple Ashaju, my colleague, standing by at the trading floor to do justice to that. Good afternoon again, Temple. Well, bring us up to speed to how the market is moving on today. At intraday, it was down 0.18%. What has happened so far?
So the losses have extended further. We've seen the bears clawing on equities in the markets. We're now down by some 0.57%. With some 40 minutes to the close of market, anything can change. Let's stay positive. But basically, what we know so far is that some over 200 million units of shares have been traded in the market for a value of 1.2 billion naira. That's what we know so far. Some of the major movers that we have in the system are Julius Berger, O&O, which has risen some 4.90% and keeps rising. And we've also got Access Bank as well as Diamond Bank on the list. There were a couple of earnings that came in between yesterday and today, and we analyzed a couple of them a few hours ago on our sister show. But I mean, one of them was Nigerian Breweries, which even declared a 60 kobo dividend. Currently, as we speak, it's on the losing side of things in the market, down by some 2.70%. And that implies we have a couple of people that are more interested in capital appreciation, and that's why they're selling off, to possibly move on in the market. Unilever, that also had an impressive earning, is incidentally taking a bashing as we speak by 115 basis points in its share price movement. Top on the losing side of things again is FCMB, and it's the most actively traded equity in the market. For the greater part of this week, that company has been on the losing side of things, down currently by some 63 basis points, having seen some 30 million units of its shares sold off, and accounting for some 43% of the entire sales we've seen in the market today. You also got a couple of other banking names dominating the top trade activity chart. Sterling Bank is one of them as well. In terms of earnings, a couple of earnings have so far been released within the last 2-3 hours. You've got Nascan PLC releasing its earnings. Revenue is up by some 7.9%. You also got the profits after tax at some 2.09 billion naira for Q3, as it were. Seplat released a kind of a notice to the market talking about its 58th board of directors meeting that held yesterday at its head office here in Lagos, and he talked about the fact that it was to approve the Q3 earnings for this period, which is also supposed to come in on the 30th of October. That's October the 30th. Basically, that should be released to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. What the announcement says is that the board has already approved these earnings, and it's going to be released as they put their books together generally. The last I have to give you here is that of Stanbic IBTC, which also came in this morning. It's an impressive result. We got 168 billion naira in the 9-month earnings. In terms of the gross earnings, there's an appreciation in the net interest income, which is by some 58.44 billion naira. We also saw some fees and commission revenue rising, appreciating to 53 billion naira, while the profit settled at 70.3 billion naira compared to 45.65 billion naira. That's the 9-month earnings for this particular company. Guinness released the 2 battered earnings a few minutes ago too, and that wasn't too good. We're seeing it on the losing side of things, on the losing chart of the Nigerian Stock Exchange now. Chimeze.
Thank you for that update. But looking at the week to date, are we heading towards a positive or negative close?
It looks like it's going to be negative, given the more than 2% decline we had during the course of trading this week. So far, we've had some 3 positive trading sessions out of the 4 trading sessions we've had. But you recall that the major bashing we had on Wednesday midweek by over 2% is something that really drags the market. If you add that to the current losses that we're seeing in the market, some 57 basis points decline so far, I think it is going to outweigh the positive performance that we've recorded so far this week. However, we can't say right now what is going to happen. We haven't seen much difference in the share price of Dangote Cement. If that changes, then we're likely to sway the positive direction of the markets going forward, and that will then impact on the week-to-date performance and possibly move further upwards the month-to-date returns of the market, and maybe also moderate the year-to-date returns. Chimeze.
So we can say, thank God it's Friday. Thank you, Temple. Now, facing a shrinking subscriber base in France and mounting Chinese competition in Africa, its second largest market, Vivendi's Canal Plus is investing heavily in African-produced television series to win over local audiences. Its new award-winning TV series, Invisibles, documents the lives of the young and unemployed in Ivory Coast and how they are forced to turn to a life of crime.
On a muddy side street in Abidjan, Alex Ogu directs his cast of young locals in a TV drama about gangsters in Ivory Coast that French media giant Vivendi hopes will help revive its fortunes. Invisibles is the first original series produced in Africa by Vivendi's pay TV company, Canal Plus, and is part of a drive that attracts viewers on the continent in the face of growing Chinese competition and as subscribers at home cancel contracts. For the director and creator Alex Ogu, who has worked on the project for the last 2 years, this is a major breakthrough for the local industry.
Our approach is to emphasize on quality with every production that we are involved in. I salute Mr. Karamoko and TSK's approach to production, because if we want to make this industry professional and competitive, there has to be someone taking initiative. And for that to happen, you need financing, which is what Mr. Torre has done.
La professionnalisation passe par des investissements.
Silence plateau, on ferme les téléphones. Aussi silence.
Canal Plus has lost 1.3 million individual subscribers in mainland France since 2013 due to stiff competition for rights to sport events, series from upstart rivals, and the rise of streaming services such as Netflix and Amazon. At the same time, Canal Plus has added twice as many subscribers in Africa, now its second largest market. Rights to European and African soccer have long been a draw in Africa, and Canal Plus has also invested heavily in locally produced content. But unlike the tried and tested telenovelas and tales of witchcraft that account for an outsized portion of African TV consumption, Invisibles tells the story of a violent gang of youngsters in 10 episodes of 52 minutes. Ivorians hope that the series' success will encourage more homegrown stories to be made, but also develop local talent in all other aspects of the film industry.
Ever since I was small, I wanted to be an actor. But thanks to my mother, I was introduced to the world of cinema, and that even if I was not a footballer, that I could excel in different fields.
I'm very moved to be here at the grand premiere of The Invisibles. It's really encouraging for me as I make a career in cinema.
For the country's once vibrant film industry, hopes are high that the current boom could also offer a fresh start as an emerging crop of filmmakers struggling to bring Ivorian stories to the big screen.
And with that, we wrap up today's edition of the program and, of course, for the week. Thank you very much for being part of it. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu.